Windows XP goes end of life on the 8th of April 2014. If you're an organization with a Windows XP environment, now is the time to think about a migration strategy. Windows XP going end of life isn't something that has just happened. It's been winding down over the past few years. Looking at this timeline, we can see that the process commenced with the last service pack being released back in 2008, with general support ending in 2010. Although a final deadline has now been set, you still have time to plan your migration. Before we go any further, let's look at some of the reasons that you should migrate. Security model. Perhaps the biggest argument for migration is security. Windows XP is underpinned by a security model that is nearly 15 years old, and the security landscape has changed significantly since then. Windows XP is inherently insecure and therefore very difficult to plug all the holes. So what happens if your organization suffers a malicious attack exploiting the weaknesses in Windows XP security? User experience. Newer operating systems like Windows 7 and Windows 8 arguably offer a more intuitive user experience and choice. That is, not all browsers are supported on Windows XP, and later versions offer poor user experience because they don't render correctly. Competitive advantage. Is an operating system that is 12 years old really offering you business efficiencies and productivity gains? If you think about the other applications and devices in your IT stack, it's unlikely that you'll have anything else of the same age. So it's certainly time to migrate away from Windows XP. The decision to move to Windows 7 or Windows 8 is another discussion, but our advice is to start planning your migration now. But before we look at how to migrate, we must consider and understand that our users are getting smarter, and the gap that once existed between the IT techie and the business user is getting smaller. Our business users expect a better service from IT. They expect things to just work. So seamless upgrades and changes are vital. Since many of our business users are already running and maintaining more up-to-date technology at home, like Windows 7, Windows 8 on tablets, smartphones, and other devices, they will be expecting a smooth transition from one platform to another. Your business migration must therefore be meticulously planned and executed. So it's a simple fact that migrations are not simple. Moving from XP to Windows 7 or to Windows 8 is not a simple task. Certain things do make it easier, though, such as if every application is delivered through a virtualization platform such as Citrix, then this takes away most of the complexities. But chances are that this is not the case in your environment. Our advice is to therefore understand what your environment looks like through information capture to ensure that your migration is a smooth and seamless process. The next few slides therefore look at the need to capture accurate information about your applications, users, devices, locations, and the overall environment. There's usually a reason you are moving away from an old platform. Most people are now thinking about the looming date in which support expires for Microsoft, but there might be other reasons, such as part of an overall infrastructure refresh program, to reduce the TCO of the desktop estate, or a major application change that requires a new platform. One of the first things you should do is create a set of principles or objectives for the project. This slide shows some of the common objectives for undertaking these type of projects. Once you have established the objectives for your migration, you need to consider the impact of your migration on your applications, users, devices, and communications. This is where the need for accurate information capture comes into play. Let's explore these considerations in more detail. This is probably the most important consideration. At Affini, we're yet to come across an organization that knows everything about their application estate. Most organizations have software catalogs and CMDBs, but users download new applications themselves. Some business units go out and buy their own software. You must understand what the application estate looks like. How many are managed and how many are unmanaged? Does the current version of software work with Windows 7 and Windows 8? And if they do, does the vendor support it in these new platforms? Also, What applications will need upgrading before the refresh? Looking back to the key principles mentioned earlier, use this as a point in time to reduce the application footprint where possible. As a general rule, unused apps, get them removed. Unlicensed apps, get them removed or buy a license. Use whatever management tool set you have to accurately discover their applications. This could be SCCM, Landesk, or any of the other well-known tools in the marketplace. Now we'll look at user considerations. The bullets on this slide are some of the key pieces of information you need to know about your users: who they are, where they store their data, what printers and connected devices do they use, and are these compatible with Windows 7 or Windows 8? And also, do your users share devices? You can get coexistence issues if you do not migrate users at the same time and their profiles, application settings, and so on. Now we come on to device considerations, and it's the same principle. The more information you have about your device estate, the better. Basically, you need to establish how many of what type of device you have. Are they all running the same version of XP, or are there different service pack levels? One of the biggest debates is around 64-bit OS versus 32-bit OS. A 32-bit platform will lessen compatibility issues, but a 32-bit platform will not let you take advantage of the performance of a 64-bit application. A 64-bit platform will provide performance improvements, but you may have to upgrade some applications or peripherals if they don't support it. It is not ideal, but you could create two builds, a 32-bit and a 64-bit build. Profiles is another consideration. Do users use local profiles, roaming profiles, or a mixture of both? But please note that not all applications write their data to the profile, so precautions need to be taken about how you handle this. Good communications is one of the easiest things to do. If you tell your users what you are doing, why you are doing it, and when you will do it, they are more likely to buy into the overall project. So sell them on the benefits: a fresh new look, maybe a new device, something closer to what they use at home. Create a good comms plan and stick to it. The first communication should be what, why, and when. Then, as you get closer to the migration start, you can send a kind of T- communications to the users. It can go something like this. 10 days before, provide users with a tick sheet so they can confirm the applications and data you think they have installed. 5 days before, tell them the time and date that they will be migrated and how it will work. 3 days before, remind them of the date and the time of the migration. And on the day, phone or email them to finally remind them and check any last-minute changes or actions they should have done. So, we know the information we need, and we know how important it is. You now need to tie the information together. You can use your existing management tools, such as Microsoft's SCCM, to do this, or you can purchase an off-the-shelf product. But what you need to do is create some logic that allows you to: 1. Map applications to devices. 2. Map users to a device or set of devices. And 3. Map users to the environment. It sounds complicated, but it's not. With some asset intelligence, log on, log off events turned on in Active Directory, you can create this. Now you are ready to create your migration schedules. You can choose to migrate to the new platform using either an application-driven or user-driven approach. Either works. So, if it's user-driven, select the department or area you will migrate, and then use the information captured in Logic Engine to work out the activities required for the migration. Migrating a department might mean packaging 4 applications on Windows 7, upgrading a printer queue with a 64-bit driver, imaging 40 desktops and 16 laptops, and scheduling and communicating with users. And this cycle will repeat. But don't forget, good communications is key. So, if you want some help with your migration strategy, why not talk to us? Thank you.